So my name is Suzy and I am currently residing in British Columbia, but I played Ultimate in Newfoundland and Labrador for 12 years. And that's really where I first started playing more competitive Ultimate. I had played a little bit in BC in a kind of startup league and with pickup, but it wasn't really until I moved to Newfoundland where we started being more organized and looking at developing and making more competitive team, developing the sport. So I moved to Newfoundland, and there was already a really good group started. They were a forward-thinking group, and so they'd already started a PSO. They'd already had a league on the go, a mixed league, and things were very organized. So it was very easy to step in. And once I'd arrived and started doing a few clinics, there was some talk about, what can we do to make players more interested in the sport? How can we grow the sport here? There was definitely a group of people that wanted to travel and meet other people, play against other teams. So that organically led to traveling teams starting in Newfoundland. I wasn't on the first traveling team. The first traveling team was Granite. But after that happened for about a year, and then we started a mixed team, Rec House. And Rec House went for about 10, 11 years, and it was a mixed team made up of Newfoundlanders, and we traveled mainly to Ontario, to Montreal, Quebec, and the Atlantic provinces to tournaments. And it was just a really great chance to have exposure to other players, to meet other players, to see other ways of playing Ultimate, and really just experience Ultimate in a broader sense, not in just such a small kind of community that we had started out in. I think one of the things that worked really well for Rec House and that we were really fortunate was that when we were very first starting out, Gavin Thompson from Ottawa had a lot of experience playing Ultimate, had a lot of experience with tournaments, and he mentored us and he gave us a really good introduction to tournaments and traveling and playing as a team and introducing different strategies into the game, and that definitely helped Rec House become a more competitive team, and it allowed us to play at higher levels, go to nationals, and really be a competitive team in the sport of Ultimate. I also have been involved in starting Tempest. So Tempest is in its 10th year. It's a women's team from Newfoundland. When we first started out, it was a mixture of Newfoundland and usually picking up with another team like Salty from Halifax, or even players from Ottawa. And that was for the first couple of years, but then we managed to build, and Tempest went to nationals 2 years ago, which was a really big accomplishment for us. And it has been a team that has traveled, it's played together, it's developed women's Ultimate in Newfoundland over the last 10 years, which is pretty amazing, and it's still going really strong. As well, I was involved in starting Swirl, which is the St. John's Women's Ultimate Recreational League. And that has been going now for 11 years in Newfoundland, and it's the longest running women's league in Canada. And it's really been an amazing growth. It started out with a few teams that played in outdoors and mainly in the summer, and it's grown now to be a league that runs year-round. It has a board, it's very well run, and it's very interested in women's development and introducing women to the sport and promoting play at all levels. So there will be different leagues that are run either for newer players, where it's a hat league, you intermingle experience with new players. And then there's also the leagues like Parity League, where it kind of draws out the more competitive players and it gives them a chance to really challenge themselves and play at a higher level. So I think Swirl has done an amazing job at developing women's Ultimate, and I was really fortunate to be involved in it. And I think that the combination of Tempest as a women's traveling team and having that women's league has really worked well together to develop Ultimate further in Newfoundland, and I'm really proud of being a part of that. I love Ultimate because you just have an opportunity to meet so many different people, and there's a lot of amazing people that play Ultimate, and it's one of those sports that is something it's very easy to get involved in. It's very easy to play. You can be playing with people who have gone to Worlds or who have been on professional teams, and you're playing in a league with them. It's just a very accessible sport, and it's amazing the community that's developed in Ultimate. I'm really interested in youth Ultimate and developing players and just exposing younger players to the joy of the sport. So I'm currently coaching a junior team at a high school in Prince George, Duchess Park, and this was started a few years ago, but had a bit of a break, and now we're hoping to get it going again where we can have Ultimate in the high schools and tournaments, and with the goal of maybe in the next couple of years going to provincials and looking at building those connections with other juniors from around the province and hopefully across Canada as well. Once the juniors start to get developed and they start looking at the possibilities in disc sports, I'm the most familiar with Ultimate and I enjoy it a lot, but I think there's a lot of opportunities out there, and there's a lot of things that both adults and youth can be exposed to through playing Ultimate. So I was lucky, very lucky, to play with Eclipse last year at Worlds and enter in the Women's Masters division, and it was a fantastic experience. Living in a community where Ultimate is still growing, I'm looking more at developing a women's team, and we are going to a couple of tournaments as a combination. Again, we're going to be combining now with another city to attend these tournaments, but hoping to grow Women's Ultimate and a Women's Ultimate team and be a part of that in BC. For me, Ultimate has given me an opportunity to meet really amazing people and to interact with them, and I would definitely like to thank all of the people that have made this experience so amazing for me. So all of the women who have played Tempest made it so much richer of an experience. Being able to train with a team and play with a team it's wonderful. And definitely to Rec House, even though it's sort of folded now, it was an amazing experience. And thanking all the Atlantic women coming together. There was the team, the collective, that brought together all of the Atlantic provinces to really put together a good competitive women's team that could compete and travel. And it's a tricky thing trying to organize from all these different provinces, but it was a really great experience and a fantastic job. And thank you to just, especially Gavin Thompson, because I think he gave me a different perspective on sport and the impact that sport can have in people's lives, and I learned a lot.